Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Thank you once again for subscribing, liking all the videos and all the good stuff, interacting and commenting, giving me information that's helpful to me. Today we're going to try to get some pressure washing going here and get these big mud clods off and move on from there. First, we're going to take the shop vac to it, and we'll get back on the F250. Stick with us. Got a lot of mud to get off here. Okay, as you can see, the pressure washing is a big help. I might have another video on the pressure washer coming up soon though, because it's got a major leak again. I'm finding all kinds of stuff in this truck. It's much cleaner than it was, and it's going to be a lot easier to work on. Like I said, our main thing is we want to get these fuel tanks and fuel gauges working. I want to get this little tank working on the front too though. And you can just do all these things so much easier with the bed off. It's 6 bolts to get the bed off, and yeah, you need a cherry picker or a few buddies to come over and help you get it off or whatever, but I'm telling you, at the end of the day, it is the way to do it. Check the differential, can check brakes, brake lines, make sure there's no leaks there. Grease the drive shaft, which needs to be done. Getting all that extra weight off of it. It's just a lot of it. Now you can see too, there's still some chunks down in here that I wasn't able to get because we have a pressure washer debacle going on. But for the most part, it is a lot cleaner than it was, and it's gonna make life a lot easier. So anyway, we'll let this drip dry for a little bit, and then we'll get out here and get started on it. So the objective is going to be, at this very moment, I'm going to pop these keepers off on these hoses, and got to have the removal tool, which I have somewhere. I have all that crap, and we're going to go with that and try to get these off and try to get these tanks lined out. Clips just pop off. I'll show you this in a minute. This is probably why we don't have a fuel gauge. Look at that crap. So we have wire completely chewed in half. We have another one that's bare right here. But yeah, that wire, the blue wire, is completely gone. So we have a repair to make right here. I think we make that repair, we probably have a fuel gauge working. So we're going to do that before I crack this open. Now, here's the crappy part. I'm this far, so I'm kind of tempted to go ahead and crack it open anyway, because I do have those new filter screens. So I have to think on that. Alright, so I went ahead and made the decision here. Right, wrong, or indifferent, we're going to go ahead and take this off and try not to drop as much crap down in it as we can. We're going to try to keep it clean. But if you've been following along, you know there's not a lot clean to this truck. The only hesitation I really have on doing this is that gasket behind here is probably not going to be any good after we do this. And you know, it kind of sucks. So but it is what it is. Try to get you guys in here where you can see, in case you've never seen this before, how to get these hoses off. Usually those things pop up better than that. Get out of the way better than that. That's a little better. There we go. And sometimes you have to spray some penetrating oil in here to work these things loose. I'm not exactly sure what size is what. You just stick the tool in, push forward and pull back. Watch yourself, you can cut yourself here if you're not careful, so be careful with that. Just like that. Unplug this. Alright. A lot of times you can just tap on this and it'll come off without a problem. You have some tabs here. You see these tabs, how they go over it. Still a lot of trash in there. Well, so much for that. Wow, this is almost a full tank of diesel back here. Well, there's no screen at all on here, so that's not good. I'm glad I took this off. Yeah, hold tight. So the seal I'm talking about, the gasket, is right here. I'm not going to disturb it. I'm going to leave it alone. This is actually not a good scenario. I'm about to get a flashlight and try to look down in here. And the reason this is not a good scenario is because I need the hen that goes on here. So let me try to get a flashlight and we'll try to investigate a little further here. Well, I'm not sure how much you're going to be able to see of this. Let me try this. Cramping my leg. That sucks. All right, plan C, D, E, F, G. All right, so have this new screen installed here, and I guess it's ready to go back in, but we are actually not done yet, because the whole reason, one of the main reasons, is because we're trying to get the fuel gauge to work. So I'm gonna fix this wiring real quick, and so I'm gonna move it over here to the cargo truck, or the cart hauler, and use that as a bench so I can get this wiring fixed, and then we'll get back up and test it out. Okay, so put the new filter screen on here, but you know, we have a wiring issue, so we are going to address that right now, or try to, and hopefully we'll get a fuel gauge working. Yeah, this is mouse damage, is what this is. Kind of figured that it was either mouse damage or there was wiring jerked loose because of the condition of the underside of the truck. So none of this is shocking to me. But the cool thing is we've run into a lot of things that are, in the scheme of things, pretty easy fixes. So we're coming out pretty good on that. I'm pretty sure this is going to fix our fuel gauge. Surprisingly enough, the diesel fuel that is in that tank, which, you know, I put 5 gallons in there, but the diesel fuel that's in that tank looks really, really good. So really, in the scheme of things, I need to be adding a piece of wire here. I hate to do that because it's gonna cause me to have 2 connections under here, but I don't know that I'm gonna really have a choice here. So I guess we'll go ahead and do it. We'll add a piece of wire, and yes, it's gonna be the wrong color. Yes, I know. Let me see if I got some better wire for this specific thing. Okay, so since old Yeller here is messed up too, I could just put some tape on it, but I think I'm just going to cut it in the middle. A little steady hand there. And we'll just put that back together like it should be. So I'm going to double this up. And I'm going to use the shrink wrap, or yeah, whatever you call them. So we'll trim this back. We'll start with old Yellow here, because old Yellow doesn't require adding any wire. A lot of people, oh, don't use your knife. Well, I'm using my knife, folks. think these red ones would work for this, but yeah, I think so. That's what I'd like to have on it. I think you can see what I'm doing here. We'll see if that'll work. This is one of the problems I actually have with this product, is that it takes so long to actually get that solder hot enough to spread out and do its job. And I don't like it. You know, some people swear by these things, and hey, I guess they do work, but you just have to get it so hot. Of course, we're going to test this before we put it back in the truck and put the bed back on, make sure that we're good. Slip that over. So because of the location of this thing, I'm trying to fill it up as best I can. Alright, add a little piece of wire here, and that sucks, but pretty much all we can do. I think I'm going to go with a piece of brown here. I'm just using scrap stuff that I had laying around. Anyway, same procedure over and over again. We'll get this put together and try to test it out. Alright guys, I put this wiring back together pretty decently. Saved you a lot of the trouble. I know I'm going to show your work channel, but I'm showing you what I did. Alright, hooked it back up here on the truck. And I'm going to get real basic with you guys. When you fill up your truck, this moves up, moves down. Okay, that's what's going to tell you if you have fuel. It's what sends the message electrically, voltage wise, to show your fuel gauge, up, down, full, empty. So right now it's in the empty stage. I'm going to kick the key on. This does not have electric fuel pumps, so if you're messing with the Super Duty, this is probably going to be a different, but this is not. So we have a manual fuel pump on the engine, so we can do it this way. Got the wiring hooked back up. I'm going to turn the key on, and we're going to look at it, and it should show completely empty in that scenario. And if you'll recall, we've been turning the key on, and it's been doing that right there. So we'll see if that changes. Yeah, get some progress here. So it's reacting as it should. And on these fuel gauges in the tank, on the fuel gauge element, it can have dead spots in it. So, but I'm gonna set you guys up in here on a tripod and try to go back here and lift the float and see if it affects it. Okay, I know you're kind of crooked, but this is what we're watching. It's the fuel gauge. And I'm gonna go back here and lift the float and let's see what it does to it. I'm gonna try to prop it up back here. And it's still going up. Looks like we're gonna have a working fuel gauge back there on that one. Awesome news. So anyway, that's probably the fix. I do want to see if it gets crazy here and goes way off the charts. It should be stopping anywhere right in there and it'd be okay. That looks pretty good. So we'll call that one fixed and we'll move on to the front tank. Awesome news. So basically what I'm gonna do is I have some grease here. I'm gonna take some on the tip of my finger, pull this back out, and I'm gonna run it around the portion of the element where that gasket's gonna try to seal, and hopefully that helps it seal. It's not gonna hurt anything. I'll do it like that. I'll wipe my hands off and put the ring back on it, and then we'll worry about dressing these wires up. Get this unhooked like so. I really wish that was a little cleaner in there, but we go to hook this back up. I'm gonna put some dielectric grease on it. I'm a firm believer in that stuff. Basically, I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but this is pretty easy to put back together. And I just try to push it till it seats back where it originally was. We're close right there. Just like that. And hopefully this thing doesn't leak. Now, you really should change this gasket when you do this, because they are prone to leak on these old trucks for some reason, especially after they're disturbed. I'm not going to worry about it. You've seen how easy it is if you watch my other videos on how to take the bed off. If I need to get back in here to fix that, I'll take the bed right back off and get in here and do it. All right, we'll wrap up these wires with some dielectric grease. Like so. Some people go over the top with it. You really don't have to, but I am a believer in it. I really want this to snap into place. Got some pretty good neighbors around here. They see me videoing and they don't stop and mess with me. They know I'm trying to get one done. All right, put that back in its spot. Well, we'll go ahead and tape this up first. All right, that's no good. So I want to get that off there. Get this back on here. All right, awesome. Get this taped up, move on to the front tank. When you go to put these on, you just push them back on, make sure they're latched. Put your keeper back on, like so. This one here, push it on, push it up, latch. Like so. should be good to go back here. Okay, focus, there you are. All right, so we got the back tank. Looks like we have it working properly. That's about how much fuel it had in it. Flip to the front tank. Now, front tank, it may actually be fine. It may just be out of fuel. We're gonna find out in just a minute. We'd have to check the wiring on it and all that. And all of this may be working, but the selector underneath could be messed up too. I hope not. If it is, we're just gonna walk away from the front tank for right now. Well, and move forward. But now showing a quarter of a tank. Let's get back here and check it out. Typically, because we do know that it looks like the fuel gauge is working here, and I don't see anything messed up on the wiring on this end, I would just say, hey, we're just gonna move forward with it. But here's the thing. I do have another screen. I'd like to take this off, make sure it's got a screen on it. If it doesn't, I'd like to put one on it. I just think it'd be a good idea. So we're gonna try to pop it off here. So I'm gonna try to just get any kind of dirt or anything that might fall down in the tank, try to get it out. I like to get on the back. Really need the air hose and blow all this, but I don't have it where it'll reach, and that sucks. So our latch. There we go. So just gonna pull it straight up. Have a look in the tank. And this one is missing a screen as well. Woo! That don't look good, fellers. That don't look good at all. Glad we did this. You're not going to be able to see it, but we're going to have to drain this tank. Yep. So, for whatever reason and however, this tank has some water in it. So we're going to try to drain it out and go from there. So I don't know if I recommend this or not, but we're going to use a shop vac to try to get this out. It's mainly water anyway. It's going to get loud, so make sure your TV's not up real loud. Here we go. Well, we're finding the remnants of the original screen, and this is why we're doing this. We're really just trying to get this thing as clean as humanly possible. What we'll probably do is try to go get 5 gallons of diesel, pour it in this tank, flip our switch, see how it runs, kind of go from there. There may be some bad fuel in the line, you know, there's things like that to consider as well. So tank looks pretty good though. Actually, the tank looks perfect. So, but this is why we were doing this, guys. So, get the screen put on here. And look, these were just ordered off Amazon. I'm not even gonna say if they're worth the crap or not, but they're gonna be definitely better than having nothing. For giggles, I think I'm gonna hook vacuum on here and make sure there's nothing clogged up right here. If there is, I'm pretty convinced we would have got it out right there. So put the new screen on. Like so. And we're gonna go ahead and check. We'll wipe this off a little bit here on the float. We're going to check the float and make sure that the fuel gauge is working with it, just like we did on the rear tank. Hope you guys can see that. See how orange and rusty and nasty that looks? It's definitely got some water in it. Had some rust chunks and all that. So we definitely did no harm getting that out of here. Got this put back together. Used the grease around the seal again. Hopefully that'll keep it from going bad. Everything else looks to be good on it. So I'm gonna discard all this and go get about 5 gallons of fuel. We're gonna pour it in this front tank and try it out. And then we're, you know, guys, we're pretty much setting on go then. I'll get this back bumper off, and then I'm going to go ahead and try to put the bed back on it and all that. So yeah, good news. Went and got 4 gallons of diesel for the F250 front tank. Noticed a couple of things as I was putting the diesel in. I'll show you real quick. First of all, and I'm not sure of this, I'm going to look into it, but that thing is pretty flat right there. I don't know if that's right. You can also see some rust here, maybe you can see it. Yeah, probably not going to get it, it's too shadowy. So the seal's busted on this cap, so I might order a new seal, or I might order a whole new cap for it. I'd like to put green caps on here, honestly. That way if any of the kids are driving the truck, they'd be, maybe won't put gas in it. So we're gonna see if we can fire this thing up off the front tank. Now, I don't think it came up a little bit, but not a lot, so I don't know. We're running off the front tank. We tested these fuel gauges and they both showed to work, so I'm just going to assume 4 gallons don't put a lot in there. I wonder how many gallons a tank is. I might have to look that up. We're going to let it run a little bit. I'm going to have to get this Anderson hookup off. I'm going to pull this bumper off. It's junk. So in order to get this bumper off, we need to get this Anderson plug-in off. Well, she's broke. So we'll be getting new Anderson plugs. This thing, I didn't figure it would make it, and it didn't. Ow! That's why you're supposed to wear gloves, Aaron. So I guess we'll just get something to cut that. How about that? Just cut them off. Well, come off there. Dang. Come off there. Come off there. Whew. That's it. Now, if yours is hooked up under the hood, if this is hooked up under the hood on your truck, you don't want to be doing it like this and leaving this exposed. So it'll be a bad day for you. Getting her wired up back here, guys. And I'll take it for a test drive. Well, y'all, didn't get a lot on video today. I tried, but I'm kind of in a rush to try to get ahead of some of this stuff. Used a cherry picker and got the bed back on the truck. Not really that big a deal. Back the truck up under it, lower it down, move it around a little bit. I only put in the back 4 bolts. The 2 front ones are not in yet. They are the hardest ones because they don't really have anything to hold them down in place while you're tightening them. Not a big deal. Got these super tight, beds on good. Did take it for a test drive. Bad news. Even though the shifter is not flickering anymore, and the light is still good in it, but even though it's not flickering anymore, we do have a transmission issue. It's shifting erratically, and I'm going to say that the torque converter is kicking in and out on it. I have another transmission and torque converter that came out of one of these trucks, but it's been in storage for years. I mean, for a long time, probably as long as this truck's set up, and kind of on the fence. I'm thinking I ought to pull this transmission out, order a brand new torque converter for it, and flush the cooler and all that stuff and put it all back together. That's what I'm thinking, but I don't know. Used transmission could probably have the same problem, but I don't want to put a $2,000 or $3,000 transmission in this thing right now, so I don't know yet. I'm on the fence. We may go grab that one and just change the fluid in it, see what it looks like, and we may throw it in here and just see what it does. And then if we, if it works to where it doesn't, if it doesn't work out, we'll already have the transmission that was in the truck already out. We'll park it with the old one or with the replacement that's in it. Take the one we have, maybe get it rebuilt. Just not sure yet. But that's where we're at right now. So that's really basically it. But we accomplished a lot on the fuel tanks. Got the wiring situation lined out in the back of the truck. All that's good now. It's done proper. Pretty happy with that. Still have a bunch of that diesel from the major leak we had that's still trying to cook off. Still want to get a hood, and all that stuff. But this is exactly why I didn't want to put any money into it until we knew what we had. So I don't know. I'm gonna do some investigating and then we'll figure it out. But all right, see if I can even get in here to this. We got the transmission right there. I'm hoping it still has some kind of tag on it because I can't remember what truck it came out of exactly. I want to say it was, it might have been a 95 model, and I don't know how that'll work. But it is a E4OD transmission. And it could be the solution to our problem. See if I can get this thing out of here. Might be kind of rough. Well, after about 30 minutes of complete struggle, I was able to get the damn thing out and get it up here on the trailer. A couple of initial thoughts. First of all, this was covered up, guys. I had a jug over the top of it. No guarantees that there didn't have something coming down in it. Torque converter slipped off while I was getting it out of there, but it looks very clean inside. Still has fluid in it. Fluid looks great. Dirty in here, obviously. Like I said, I got to figure out what model truck this came out of because I want to make sure that this is going to hook up to our wiring and function properly. The only true concern I have is right here. This was covered when it was put back here, but I don't know, maybe a storm blew through and took care of that for us. But that's going to have to be dealt with. Really, basically what we're going to do is get this thing home and get the pan off. Try to just see what the internals look like on it. We're going to cover it and clean it first because it's pretty nasty. So we'll do that. We'll get the pan off, get the fluid out, take a look at it, see if this matches up, and see if there's a tag on it, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to see anything on this tag, honestly. And I don't know if there's any other true way of identifying which one it is. I'm not sure. So here, like I said, there's a tag right here. And I think the numbers are just going to fall off of them. That sucks. I don't know if you guys know of any way to identify exactly which model this is. Let me know. I appreciate it. Any help I can get. Anyway, that's going to be the plan. Like I said, this was in a running truck when it was pulled out, and it shifted okay. So, but I can't remember if part of me says it was a 95. But you know, don't quote me on it. Maybe there's a way to figure it out. I did notice this. Like I said, I don't know if you can see down in there, but that is some clean transmission fluid. Looks great in there. But there's this number written on this torque converter, 59.6. So I don't know what that means. It's either, I don't know. So they're hard to mess with. They're heavy. This thing weighs about as much as a dang engine on the Civic, or it seems like it anyway. So doing this job by myself off on the ground might be pretty rough. I might try to get Al to come help me and all that. But you know, depending on the situation, I'm thinking to myself, you know, if I can throw this transmission in there, you know, change the front seal, change the rear seal, you know, transmission fluid, filter, the solenoid pack. If I can do all that, I might risk it. I might throw it in there and try it, you know, and see what happens. Worst case scenario, I get down the road and the transmission's no good. If that's the case, I pull the truck back out into the backyard. And the original transmission that I'm taking out of the truck, I already have out. I'll just go ahead and order the rebuild stuff and try my hand at rebuilding the transmission for it. That's probably the direction we're headed here. So, but anyway, we'll get this thing strapped down and get this torque converter put in the front. Put something over it to keep trash out of it. And we'll go from there. There she is, all strapped down, ready to go. I don't think she's gonna go anywhere. We might take this and tie this off back here somewhere, but anyway, onward and upward, right? So I stomped all around this place down here looking the other day when I came to check and make sure the transmission was still here. Looking everywhere for that tire or that rim that came off the truck. And just so happened I'm working on a Toyota. I don't know if I'm gonna make a video on that or not. I'm doing it for, it's a job, so gotta get that done. But just happened to stumble over here and look at that. I don't even know if you can see it. I think we found our missing wheel. Now, how the heck am I gonna get it out of there without a machete or a chainsaw? That is the question. But anyway, hey, I think we found it. So, good deal. Yeah. That'll work. Well, I saved you guys some more trouble. I went ahead and started pressure washing. Now I made sure I covered up all the orifices, put plugs in areas where I thought it could get some fluid in it or some water penetration. And I'm not spraying directly on the electronic components, and I'm not getting stupid with it. Not shooting any water up the tail shaft, things like that. Same at the front pump. I have it all covered, zip tied down with plastic. And, I'm kind of letting it soak right now with a little bit of degreaser. I'll take a brush to it and scrub it, get it as clean as I can get it. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I don't want it to be nasty. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. And I'm going to finish this off camera. And we'll move on to the next step. This may be it for this week, and if it is, guys, once again, thanks for watching. We'll come up with a game plan and we'll move on from here. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow, comment. Hey, if you got suggestions, let me know. I'm open for them. Peace.